you are putting the largest target on the planet on your forehead when you do this,
Yeah,
right? You're like, hey, everyone look at me. And if everyone sees, hey, why are you making my friends do this? Get him. They will understand the source of their problems and probably try to probably break your concentration on this.
hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Incite Greed.
Uh, this is from Acquisitions Incorporated, a much maligned sometimes to some book. Uh, there's some spells in there that are really have no business existing in an official capacity. Like, what's the one that makes someone think something's worth more? Distort
Uh,
value.
Distort value, yeah.
I don't know if this one's about the same level as distort value, but I don't love it. So it's a third level enchantment spell. It's cast times in action. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't read this in a minute. Cast range of 30 feet. Removal somatic material components requires a gem worth at least 50 gold, but it doesn't consume it, so you just need to have a gem that's worth some money. Concentration up to a minute. When you cast the spell, you present the gem you use as the material component and choose any number of creatures within range that can see you. Each target makes a wisdom saving throw or is charmed by you until the spell ends, or until you or your companions do anything harmful to it. While charmed in this way, a creature can do nothing but use movement to approach you in a safe manner. While an affected creature within 5 feet of you, it cannot move, but simply stares greedily at the gem you present. At the end of each of its turns, the affected creature makes a wisdom save. If it succeeds, the effect ends for the target. Okay.
I think this is all
This is
right.
yeah, this is I was for some reason I was thinking this was like you threw a coin on the ground, everyone dogpiled it sometimes or something. I don't know. This seems pretty reasonable.
Yep.
It hits all the marks as a regular third level AoE saver die like Fear and Hypnotic Pattern do, and I think this is a little bit of a different take on it that I like. I like that this draws them to you. I like that it's a charm. A lot of little cute things about this thing that are pretty nifty.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, save or die, sure, but if all of your enemies are within 30 feet of each other, which I think is reasonable, a lot of the times, yeah, it's probably going to affect a few of them.
Yeah, and then you have the kind of situation right where like your party targets them down one at a time because this is
Right.
selectively affecting them. You target obviously the ones that aren't affected first, and then you try and with ones that save out of the ones you go for next. Um, that makes this pretty interesting. I also think this is more fair than Fear and Hypnotic Pattern because it requires you be somewhere of in somewhat of a precarious space because you're going to be putting all the
Right.
enemies next to you to do it. I like that a lot actually. I opened this video saying that book was much maligned and that there's some spells in there I don't like, but this one does seem pretty well designed and thought through. This seems really cool.
Yeah, it seems like a nice spell, and it doesn't have any stupid text that angers me. So it's
That's
got that going for it.
the real the floor on that's very, very low. There's like 4 spells in this game that have that kind of text. And there's also Create Spell Jamming Helm, which isn't a spell. Anyway, um, I don't know. This is a cleric sorcerer warlock wizard spell. I think this is a cleric spell is kind of unique, isn't it? Because clerics don't normally get this kind of thing,
I don't know.
right? They get Yeah, I'm looking through their list. They don't get any of the big AoE saber dies at their levels. This is pretty meaningful on Cleric, especially, I think. No Upcast makes it pretty garbage on Warlock, and Sorcerer Wizard have the competing options. Like, if you want a more powerful spell, I think Hypnotic Pattern or Fear both will be better than this. But
Yeah.
if you're a Cleric, or if you are saying, I've done this thing with these spells a lot, I liked the effect, but the power was a bit much, I think this is a pretty good middle ground to look into, maybe.
Especially if you're like a tankier cleric that doesn't mind being crowded by enemies.
Yeah, it really feels like a home run for Cleric, huh? Because you're like, we just talked about Life Domain, they get an arm or a giant AC because they have heavy armor. If we did it like any of the heavy armor, or even medium armor based clerics, where you got a decent con, you got some armor, you're pretty happy drawing people to you, drawing people away from other party members. This
Mm.
seems like a pretty cool route to explore for that kind of character. Kind of wish Paladins got this for the same reason, actually.
Yeah.
Because at 9th level, it'll still be pretty powerful because it's a multi-target saber die. Um, and this doesn't cost your actions once used, right? Like once you've used this, you hold up the
Right.
gem, you can just do
Exactly.
whatever
Yeah.
you want.
You can be firing fireballs away at the other enemies if there are any left, and then or just using single target spells to hit the ones this didn't affect, and
True.
one by one as they make their saving throws and snap out of it, you blast them.
I mean, you are putting the largest target on the planet on your forehead when you do this,
Yeah.
right? You're like, hey, everyone look at me. And if everyone sees, hey, why are you making my friends do this? Get him. they will understand the source of their problems and probably try to break your concentration on this. Which does definitely knock it down a bit, you know. But it's definitely gonna be a fun problem to have, right? An interesting puzzle to solve.
If there's enough enemies that are affected by it, you've got yourself a little buffer zone of them that the other guys have to get around.
True, that's kind of fun. That's really fun. I love that a lot. I like this. It's any number of creatures, just everyone within 30 feet of you can be like, hey, everyone, look here. So like
Yeah.
even in some very niche out of combat scenarios, I think you could find Incite Greed has a home is like just drawing everyone's attention and moving a large amount of people away from a space. Because like as you move, they'll move with you, right? Yeah. So you can have them physically follow you around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do a Pied Piper thing.
Yes, that's really cool, right? There's a little bit of interesting option here.
For
This
a
has
minute.
more modality than I thought. Yeah, it's only for a minute. You can't move people that far, but you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. This thing seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, definitely putting them all around you definitely makes it worse than something like, again, Fear or Hypnotic Pattern. Fear pushes them away from you, which is where you want them to be whenever you're a full caster most of the time. And Hypnotic Pattern locks them in place, but you don't have to be on top of them. This says they have to be on top of you.
Right.
The concentration associated with that, but it being a cleric spell, I mean, I think this. I don't know. I don't know how to rate this thing, Bob. I don't think there's that much more to say about it, right? It's just like it is those spells, but a little bit worse for the most part.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3 because it's not, it's not Fear. It's
Yeah, but Fear's really, really good.
yeah.
Hypnotic Pattern's really, really good.
Yes.
Like ends some encounters good, and this can do that. So is it a 4? Like I think I would put those spells as 5s, like cracked, busted stuff. This maybe is a 4 then. Maybe it's a 3 because it's that much worse. I don't know.
Yeah, it's 3 for me because I mean I don't think it's as reliable.
Definitely true. That's definitely true.
And you are drawing people toward you, and eventually somebody's going to pass their saving throw and stab you in the face because they're right next to you, and then
Or
you're
one
going
of
to
the
lose your
first ones.
concentration.
Like there definitely are going to be encounters where like you put this down, everyone starts staring at you. One thing passes, it goes next, your concentration drops, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Well, that sucked." All right, 3 sounds fine. You've convinced me.
It's fun though. I think you'll have fun playing with it.
100% agreed.
All right. Well, I guess that's that. All right. That was Incite Greed. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.